Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there. True.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Episode 595. Another beautiful All in the Tree Tuesdays. My boys, Bill Stiegel, the mayor, and Marshall Mendez. What's up, fellas?
Hello, bros.
How are y'all?
Just fucking can't stop laughing. Lost Boy chats are on fire. We're on fire.
Yeah, popping off tonight.
Gary was on fire. We're just putting out the flames.
Yeah, I felt we should have asked for his PayPal email, man. Like, we deserve to tip him on that or something. That was straight comedy, but
he needs to do a stand-up for sure.
Fuck, dude. And I know if Kabelka could have the balls to do a stand-up, he needs to do a stand-up.
Justin stand-up?
You didn't know that? You haven't seen Justin's stand-up?
No.
Oh, I got to send you the video. Yeah, he's done it.
Send me the link.
He's did it. I think he did it twice, or it might have just been once. But I was like pretty impressed. Like Justin's funny, but you know he actually is funny. He actually cracks jokes. We've hung out with him before.
Did he do it in front of a crowd?
Yeah, it was an open mic thing.
No shit.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'll send you guys a video. But what's going on, boys? Listen, another Tuesday. I'm excited. Been following this guy's work. But before we get into tonight's guest, got to make the rounds, of course, and we'll go with Marshall as the albino live. What's going on?
Yeah, albino's alive, doing good. No change. Yeah, I posted a reel of it yesterday or the day before, up to what it's looking like. So yeah, looking pretty good. Eggs are doing good.
OCC's already begun on those snakes, right? Like you would say.
Yeah. All the three of them that I have, they've all started OCC. The albino really doesn't look like very much right now. It just kind of looks like a
badass red Neo.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't even look red anymore. It's kind of gone. It's gone in like the light orange phase, but still not quite yellow yet. But the other one kind of went through the same thing. So
you would think that's going to be on its own level of changing. Like that's you would imagine, right? Like the albino, like that's not. I feel like it's going to be on its own direction compared to the siblings. You would say.
Oh yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah, the last one went through all kinds of different phases before.
I did see that reel, but I didn't.
That face,
take time to read it.
It's happening.
It looks bad.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like a. You just see it with no. You don't know that it's an albino. It just kind of looks like a plainish red Neo right now to me.
I don't know about planet, buddy. I don't know what fucking planet you're on, Marshall, but there's nothing plain red about this snake whatsoever. This is for me at least, right? I'm just saying, I don't, you obviously have a lot more experience with designer, but this from what I can see looks like a unique pretty fucking cool looking neonate. I would say.
Yeah, it's unique. It's just not super, doesn't stand out a lot right now. I don't think, but we'll see.
You wouldn't expect it to be super dark, right? I mean, you don't want it to be super dark.
Right.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They kind of go through this weird phase where I thought that the last one was going to turn. This one even has some green on it on the head. So they kind of get like a greenish look for a minute. and then it eventually goes away. But anyway, yeah,
and
hopefully it keeps going. Both clutches are doing good. They're due to hatch like February the 14th or on Valentine's Day, or like the day.
That's the week I'm there.
Yeah, I know. I think we're gonna like that.
Do a live stream.
Yeah,
you may get lucky and hit it while you're here. We'll see.
Do I get to pick one, or how's that work?
No.
Hey, I try. Listen, that's exciting, man. And I'm sorry. So, the total A count is what right now?
I don't even remember. It's 30 something.
Wish I had that problem.
Yeah.
All right, Big Dog Bill, what's going on? You got action going on. I know. Why don't you give us a little update? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm at that like worried stage right now. I'm on day 49 today, and the clutch that I have in the incubator, it's of course I'm worrying. It's looking a little over dented to me. Like you expect to see the denting like in the last 10 days of hatching. Well, I've got some eggs that look like they're over dented. Does that make sense? Like the humidity in the chamber is 100%, but they look over dented to me. So
they're not getting wet though, right? You don't see any wet marks?
No, but just
I wouldn't worry then.
Are the shells hard, stiff?
Yeah, they seem too hard and stiff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
All of them look like that, Bill, or just some?
No, some, but probably half. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Interesting.
It's the sleepless nighttime right now. I'll probably know more tomorrow. They should pip tomorrow or the next day.
This is the surprise clutch?
Kind of, yes, kind of no. It's more like an out of season clutch. It wasn't a surprise when it happened, but it was kind of out of season. And I've got another girl that's in her nest box now, and another girl that's just probably a few days behind her. It's had her post ovulation shed. I had that clutch up at Buddy's, which looks really good. 16 eggs, 16 eggs from that, and they all look good. And so just in that zone now where some sleepless nights, just hoping that they come through.
Oh boy, do I know.
There's nothing you can do about it at this point. So
I know, right? That's what I keep telling myself, but it doesn't help at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
It is what it is. All right. Well, listen, before we get to tonight's guest, I do want to say shout out to tonight's sponsor, that being Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. Please head over to GS Reptiles on YouTube. Subscribe to this man's YouTube channel. Definitely one of the best, if not the best, dude out there in the reptile field in the YouTube channel world. So thank you, Gary from GS Reptiles. Also follow him on Instagram. Stay tuned. This guy's establishing a lot of heat right now. Like he's not playing whatsoever. So again, GS Reptiles on Instagram. Check him out. My favorite for sure. And on YouTube, GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary Scavino. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. Top tier tree monitor, real high-end captive bred tree monitors. Abronia. Okay, we have high-end geckos that he's working with. Big fan of the Kahuas that he really put me on in last year. So thank you so much, Brian, for doing what you do, but also just putting out some amazing high-quality stuff. And to check out all his stuff, I would go to his Instagram, Sundown Reptiles on IG, and also check him out on his website, sundownreptiles.com. You can find the links in the description below. And also tonight's episode is brought to you by Texas Chondros, Mark Hager, the Yellow King. I guess he likes that label. Fuck, whatever. I'm just kidding. Love you, Mark. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of the Trap Talk Reptile Network. One of the best doing it in the chondro game for sure. Puts on the whole state of Texas, all the fellow chondro keepers. One of the best, like I said. He's such a nice guy and no stranger to Trap Talk. And we just had a debate not too long ago. Whooped his ass. Just kidding. It was a good debate, but Mark had too many strong points. Shout out to the yellows out there. The yellows are up and coming, and I am a fan of the yellows. All right, there, I said it. All right, thank you so much. Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. Again, that's texaschondros.com. Check him out. Do not sleep on this guy's work. And thank you so much. Last but not least, shout out to David Brahms over at the Reptile Perch. Go to reptileperch.com. See what PVC design perch fits best for your arboreal snake. And you can also go to Reptile Perch on IG. He just posted a nice ovulation. Shout out to Dave. I hope you have a great season this year, buddy. Last year, he slayed it. I got one of his designer males, or not males, the babies, don't know what the sex is, but doing great, and I love this man's work. So again, reptileperch.com. Check out his website and also check him out on IG. And I'm pretty for sure on you guys not knowing much about tonight's guest, right? Like when I told you guys I'm bringing him on, you guys were like, oh, fuck. None of you guys knew who he was.
Yeah, I've been checking out his Instagram last day or so. It's got some nice looking stuff. But yeah, you're right.
You didn't have to throw us under the bus that way, MJ.
Well, I guess I was thinking that and I just said it, but listen.
That's your outside voice, yeah.
But dude, I love this guy's work. You know, we have we have fellow clutch mates from stuff that we got from SOC, and I just I can see he's really dialed in from his husbandry and his care. But also I think you guys, anyone from the outside looking in might think that maybe he's yellow neonate heavy, but he definitely has reds and yellows, and they're designers for sure. Oh my god, look at this one right here. So we're gonna get to it tonight for sure. I'm looking forward to getting Tylor on here. I keep saying Tylor. I keep getting Tylor. We're gonna get Tylor on here, so I'm looking forward to get to know him better.
Are you sure you know this guy?
I don't know him that well. No, I'm not saying I know the guy that well. Hold up. I've been following his work, but I probably reached out to him and only started speaking to him like not even a month ago. So, or about a month ago. So I'm wet behind the ears too when it comes to knowing about TGT. He goes by TGT. You feel me?
Okay.
All right. You guys ready to bring him on or what? I guess
Let's
we can
do it.
All right.
Do it.
Appreciate everyone in the chats, but you guys know what time it is. Do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. This is episode 595. Tyler's Green Trees coming at you right now. Let's go. Cheers.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Tell 'em.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, I love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
Episode 595. We have Tyler's Green Trees in the house. What's up, Tylor?
How we doing tonight, folks?
What's up,
How we doing,
Tyler?
guys?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
Good to
Likewise.
meet you.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
now we know each other, so we can all answer that question that we all know each other now. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. So-
Okay, answer this question. Are you a big fan of the yellow neonates?
That's yes and no. Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. We're getting right into it.
I want to say I don't have as much experience with the yellows, and like what they can turn out to be like, but I have a couple that were born a yellow that have proven me or challenged my opinion. So I'm a fan of the yellows. I'm a fan of the reds. I'm a fan of anything that turns out beautiful, but they're all beautiful in my eyes. So
yeah, and if you're a fan of Jaeger, for instance, you got to be a fan of the red and yellows because that's fucking. I mean, we always talked about the insane shit Jaeger thrown into this community, right, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, much in the same vein as Marshall's Versace, just has been, just known and bred enough with enough different females where at this, towards the end, nothing surprised me of what he produced. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of the yellows too.
Yeah. So Tyler, I got
I like the yellows that turn yellow.
those are my favorite. Yellows
That's
that
what I
stay
like
yellow.
too.
Yes,
Yellows that stay
exactly.
yellow,
I don't care how you
definitely.
come into the world, but if you stay yellow, that's what I want.
Yeah.
But okay, Tyler, I got to ask you, like, obviously everyone has a different path coming into this beautiful world of the chondros. But was it the locality stuff that started catching your eye? Was it straight designer stuff? Like, how did you start cementing your feet into the chondro game?
From like day one, kind
Yeah,
of
I
the
want to know
the lowdown.
you don't look that old. First and foremost, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay, exactly. You're not that old. So yeah, let's take it back when you were first like taking this shit on, because
2015, purchased my first chondro from a best friend. He worked at a Scales and Tails, a local, and that was a yellow maniquari. I had her in my care for 2.5 years, and then was going through a change in relationship and was moving, and ended up selling off my collection. So he got her. I got out of the game for, I would say, about 2 years. I met my new girlfriend, or future wifey.
Nice.
We've been together for like 5 years now, and her brother had a ball python that he was just looking to give to a good home. And I was like, well, I've had reptiles and snakes in the past. I'll take her. And that's kind of what started it back up about 5 years ago. I had the ball python, and I was like, Danielle, you have any experience with green trees or any interest? And she's like, oh, they look scary to me. So we ended up getting a couple, and it's kind of like tattoos. Once you get one, you're done. You just
look
start
at
acquiring them.
Look at the tattoos behind you. We get it. I mean, we like that one ball python turned into that, which is amazing. I love it.
It did. So I acquired like 5 or 6, had them for about half a year, reached out to my buddy Tim, and I was like, hey, I'm seeing a lot of photos on Instagram, on the web, of these super blue ones. They're super beautiful. They're all beautiful, but I was like, I want some blue stuff.
Yeah.
Tim's like, hit up this guy at House of Blue. And Garrick, close friend, brother, shout out Garrick. Thank you for supporting me and being a mentor. He's what spiked the flame underneath me that was already going, and just put the fuel on the fire. And that's kind of what got me going with this.
So your first designer stuff came from Garrett?
It did, yeah. I saw he had stuff available, and I was like, I want 2 of them. And at first, Garrick wasn't. Garrick's very, very particular with who he sells to. He doesn't just sell to whoever's throwing money at him, which I love that integrity and kind of mindset. And I just made a relationship with Garrick, and we talk all the time on the phone. And he eventually said, cool, let's go. I'll sell you these 2. And became my mentor, and he's helped me along the ways with a lot of things. And I've learned a lot from that guy, and there's still more to learn.
What it feels spending that kind of money right off the bat? Like, were you kind of like in a kind of a anxiety position and for the first maybe couple months getting them established, or not established, but already established? But like, I'm just curious. Everyone has different levels coming into this, and obviously I know you're not paying import prices with Garrick. Like, we know Garrick don't fuck comes to his prices. So how did it feel though? Like, all right, now I went from one ball python and I just dropped hella G's on a designer. You know what I mean? Like, what was the feeling like after that?
I was super excited. I have pictures of the night that we're, everybody's on the computer and kind of getting the list, and you start bidding, and first comes, first serve. Super excited, but also maybe a little nervous, but a good nervous, like, yeah, cool. Here we go. Here's the train. Here's the ride. And it all kind of started. I called my mom. I was like, hey mom, can I borrow $11,000? She's like, what? I'm like, I was like, no, I'm not joking, mom. This is what I'm going to do. This has always been my passion. Yeah. She was like, what are you doing? And I was like, $11K. I need to borrow, that much money. I want to buy 2 of them. And her and her fiance were just like looking at me like, you were tripping.
Yeah, for sure. I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, you're fucking tripping.
she's like, okay. Cause every time if I borrow any money, or
you pay it back,
always pay it back, paid her back within like a year, because I just didn't have it at the time. And I was like, I need it by this day. And now looking back on that, like anybody going forward that she talks about the animals to, she's like, yeah, I support it. I see where he's going now. But when it first started, they were just like, "What? Who buys these?
Hey,
What are you trying to do?"
You got an amazing mom, bro. Holy shit.
She's yeah. All the family is great supportive system. My dad's a
Where are
little
you
nervous.
from, Tyler? Where do you live?
Denver, Colorado.
Nice. Denver.
Okay.
Oh, Denver.
Burr.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you've got some peeps right there. Dave
Yeah.
D. You ever met Dave D?
Yep.
I have not. I've talked to him a couple of times, but never have
Never
been
met him?
in the presence of him.
He's awesome.
Brian
Cool dude.
Fisher's out there.
Brian Fisher. Yeah.
Ryan Fisher.
Brian Fisher.
Brian Fisher. I've
Yeah,
not
he's.
heard of the
I
name.
forget where he's. Somewhere in. I don't think he's in Denver proper, but like somewhere around there. You know, suburb.
Patrick Comey, right? You talking about Patrick Comey? That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We've had him on the show, I think, before.
Ryan Burks from Colorado too, right? Ryan.
Oh
Burks?
yeah,
Ryan Burr.
he is.
I've heard that name. I guess I need to get more familiarized with the community out here. I know there's people and breeders out here. I just haven't linked up with them. The only person I've actually talked to on the phone that's in Colorado is Harlan Walsh. But that was, that was a couple years back. But I'd love to link up and do some coffee and snakes or whatever.
I wonder what the percentage is of how many new chondro keepers talk to Harlan Wall first on the phone. Like, I swear to God, it's always something like, fuck yeah, I talked to Harlan Wall. And you know what? I talked to Harlan. Harlan Wall is the first person I ever spoke to over the phone. And it was for like 2.5 hours. I was clocked in at work and I didn't give a fuck about work. I'm outside just listening to this guy talk. And he's telling me about my eggs that are more likely going to die, but I'm just listening.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, it was quite the experience.
Our first conversation was 8.5 hours. And I'm like, yeah, you can't get two talkers on the phone because I'm a talkaholic. I know Harlan he likes to talk as well. It's like, oh man, yeah, the sun was coming up. I was like, oh, there's the sun. We've been on the phone this long. Holy cow! So
wow,
it's just one thing leads to another, and questions. It's just yeah.
Well, I admire your fucking how addicted you are to this, because I get it. Like when you have somebody throwing their experiences at you that you don't have no idea about. I mean, it's kind of why. I did this whole fucking Tuesday night thing. Like, Marshall and Bill always giving us their experience. Like, you can't help but to get glued to this shit. You know what I mean? 8 hours is crazy though. I don't.
It was a
with Harlan,
online date at that point.
With Harlan, it probably seemed like 12.
It went by so fast. It went by so fast. But then just look at the phone. I'm like, 8 hours. It's 6:30 in the morning. Sun's coming up. I'm like, buddy, I got to go to bed. Yeah. Actually, I got to go get ready for work. So,
yeah. So Denver, obviously no joke with your weather, obviously, and I'm curious, like your husbandry. Like I said, I like your caging. I like how you have everything set up, but everything's in a house, in a room, or like, how are you controlling the temps and what are you using to control temps? Let's talk about all that.
So everything is located up on the 3rd floor. These guys all are in one bedroom. They have their own bathroom that's dedicated to them.
Crucial.
All the adults are in PVC enclosures. I use herp stats to control all the temperatures, and then I do a dimming setting. So it 1 to 100%. So it's not always just on off on off.
What are the cages that are behind you? What are they?
So the size or
just like where they came from, how big they are.
So
what kind of background is that in them?
So these are ones that I currently make. Backgrounds are a photo that I found, and then I had it copied and I get them laminated.
Oh, that's cool.
They are PVC enclosures. How thick are they? They're 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter thick.
That paper don't get messed up, Tyler, on the back. Like, it doesn't get all like it worn out or like
So it's laminated, so laminated. It's fully sealed. Yeah,
okay, that's cool. I didn't hear the laminated part.
I would eventually like to start doing like a vinyl wrap, kind of like a car wrap.
Yeah.
But that's going to involving like routing out and doing CNC on the vents. So until I get to that point, I just glue the vents in. I do plastic PVC perches, kind of like what David Brahms is doing. Just a little bit different, but same concept.
Right.
Radiant heat panel. And then I just run my probe right here. So
what do you run the temps at peak during the daytime? Like what's your hottest it gets?
Right here underneath the panel is 84 degrees.
Cool.
I don't usually do night cycles unless I'm cycling females. I have a couple that I'm cycling right now. But I usually keep them, year round at 84.
So, and I'm sorry, nighttime it doesn't drop. It stays at 84 too, or does it drop?
I'm assuming like the overall temperature in the enclosure drops, but right where I have the probe, I don't do a night drop.
So
I just keep it at 84 degrees. Yeah. But I do see a fluctuation in heat. Right now, right in the middle of the enclosure, it says it's 80 degrees. But as you know, you get lower to the ground, cage underneath is like 79 right in the middle.
Yeah. Patrick Holmes always made me like realize like the lower cages, those level 4s are like kind of the ones you really want to pay attention to temperature wise, because they're getting the coldest out of everyone else. Which I'm thinking like, what's your ambience in your room? Like, what do you like to run your room temperatures at?
My room right now is 78 degrees.
Okay.
If I want my room to be colder, I just open the main door and it'll get down to about 73.
Okay.
I was running into that issue when I was trying to do cycling because I just, I have all these enclosures in here, and I have a male across the room that his cage, he's up on the very top, and I have him down at trying to get him down to at least 75 just to just start him. And I was having a hard time getting it underneath like 78. So then I started propping the door open to let all the cold air in. But what I run into here in Colorado is the humidity. It just sucks my cages dry every night.
What are you doing? How are you handling the humidity in that room?
So honestly, I walk around in the morning, spray the enclosures, let them get, super humidity.
I'm going to help you out right now. Can I help you?
Yeah.
This is the way for this one.
Okay.
Coming from someone I've learned a lot of lessons with the heat panels. Shout out to Ryan Young. Ryan Young's taught me a lot. So think about it like this. That panel's on 24/7. Obviously, if it gets warm enough to 84, it doesn't need to be on, right? But nighttime, that thing's working the most, because nighttime, it's colder in your room in a sense, or whatever. It's a little colder, but that heat panel's on. So whenever that heat panel's on, bro, that humidity, that whole fucking cage could be sprayed down. But if they're anywhere near that panel, they are getting dried out. And so those panels, you just got to be less is more. I don't think you need those panels on at night, first and foremost. I think you could be just fine killing the panels at night, and even consider just giving them heat for 12 hours. I like to do 8 hours, but plenty of people do 12 hours. I think Bill and Marshall do 12 hours. But with those panels, man, for sure, I'm telling you right now, I had a gravid emerald tree boa female who's never given me stuck sheds, but because she's been gravid, and I noticed that the heat, wherever she was under the panel. She just had to stay under the panel. And even though the enclosure was not like 90% humidity, she had stuck shed. She didn't shed. And I was so confused because my other emeralds were shedding no problem. And then obviously when something is constantly under a heat panel and there's heat coming from that heat panel, it's just going to be dried out all the time.
Drying them out. That makes total sense.
And those panels, I'm telling you right now, when you get away with them now, but when it comes to like gravid stuff and like stuff breeding, that's when you realize these panels are no joke and can really fucking fuck shit up. So coming from experience, and since your room looks like it's getting warm enough on its own, you don't need those panels as long as you have them on, for sure. I think you'll see a huge adjustment, and you'll see them being more active first and foremost, but then you'll see your stuck sheds won't be happening as much as they're happening if you are getting them. But also, I
had my first one last month. It was
you want to spray as much either, which is great. Like spraying, bro, is like a chore, and you think you're doing something, and then you still get stuck shed, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? It's the panels, man. Goddamn.
That's exactly what happened last month, my first one. And I usually spray first thing in the morning and then right before I go to bed at night. But then there's times I come up here at like 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and just check on them. And I'm like, oh, you're already down to like 75%.
Yeah.
Obviously in the morning when I come in, they're like 65%. Just the humidity just gets sucked out.
And I'm sure you're reading a gauge that's like either on the floor or on like kind of, but like put the gauge underneath the panel. Like put the, that's one thing I want to do. Like I use Govies. I want to stick a Govie right underneath the panel, like, and see how dry it is underneath that panel. I guaranteed the floor will be 80%, and that panel it's gonna be like 20, if not negative. Who knows? Like, I just know
I'll
those
definitely have to
panels,
try that.
yeah, those panels suck a lot of fucking humidity out, man. So anyways, just a little
Hey,
tip on
Tyler,
that.
what are the dimensions on those cages? And
That's what I was gonna hop back to you
yeah,
with.
what are you keeping in there?
So my dimensions are 21 tall, they are 22 deep, and 36 wide.
Okay, nice. That's great dimensions.
Thank you. I went with those dimensions just so I could get a 4 stack because I've got 4 on this one that goes all the way to the ceiling. So the 21 inches tall is kind of what gave me that number to go with just for the ceiling height.
And you're keeping you're keeping your adults in there. And then I noticed I was looking at your Instagram today, you've got like a wall of some like smaller racks and smaller cages.
So I have a baby rack that I built last year for my first 2 clutches. Those are in 6-quart deli, or no, not 6-quart. What size are these? I think they're 16. They're like the Cyrus shoebox size.
Yeah,
But they're
okay.
IKEA. So I have my Neos in there, and then in the middle, inside my closet right here, this is the Cambro rack that Focus Cube Habitats provides and builds, which I love. Definitely want to get some more of those. So I use those for like my sub adults until they get to about 2 years, 2.5 years, and then I just move them to their adult enclosures.
So that's in your okay.
Have you had shedding issues in those Cambro tubs?
At first I did, and then just talking to people on Instagram, people were suggesting to take like 2 pennies and stack them underneath the tracks just to bring the tubs up to the very top, because I just had a super thin gap all the way around the tub, and they would lose humidity super quick.
2 pennies? Like, what do you mean? Where do you put the pennies at? Because I have Cambro tubs. I'm looking.
People were putting the pennies underneath the
thing it sits on.
The sliders.
The slider. Yeah.
Interesting, huh? Yeah.
And,
yeah. Go ahead.
I just did like 2, 2, 2. So like 2 up front, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the back on both sets of the sliders, and it just raised that tub up a little bit, just so it rubs on the top, so it's not letting humidity out through that crack, because they have vents on the top.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if if you're losing too much humidity, or if you want to keep more in, I would just use electrical tape just to kind of tape those vents off if I needed to. But once I did the penny trick, they hold humidity just fine. Damn. Obviously, the bottom one's closer to the ground because it's colder down there. They lose humidity quicker, but
I just don't know how I work so fast, and I don't know how annoyed I'll get with these pennies. Like
they don't fall out because they're underneath the tracks. So like you loosen the screws where the screws hold down. So you would just screw the tracks down. Yeah, they're underneath. Or I found poker chips work good too.
Poker chips, damn.
Yeah.
You poker guy? You like playing poker?
I used to play a lot of craps.
Hey, Bill, we need, I think the week of your party, not to fucking throw more onto your plate, but we need like a poker night at your house or some shit. That'd be sick.
All right, we'll do that Tuesday night then.
Tuesday night poker.
Because we have shit going on every night.
It don't matter.
Except Tuesday.
Yeah. All right. So listen, I want to get back to as far as what you've done breeding wise so far, because I know you've had a clutch. I think it was last year. 2 clutches?
2 clutches last year, yeah.
Let's get into it.
So the first clutch was gonna pair a Drew Russell animal to a Beoc that I had. Nice. I wanted red Neos, and
Amen.
Ended up trying to pair him, but he was a little timid from the female. She was, I want to say she was probably a cap or a wild caught or a farm raised. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of, in my opinion, she has PTSD a little bit. She's very skittish. So when he got in the enclosure, was trying to cruise around to, get her to like him.
Yeah.
She was not having him. And I'm like, oh man, well, okay. So I took him out, and I actually put another male in with her that I was going to be breeding to another female.
Right.
And he did the deed. He wasn't afraid of her. And he actually ended up being the father to both of my clutches for last year. And kind of a cool thing is my buddy Tim that got me into the green trees that I ended up selling my first one to. That was his mother. So my girlfriend found that he was for sale, so she essentially bought me my grandson. That's kind of how I look at it. So he was the first one I bred, basically.
Who's this monoquery from? Because this was a red for sure, right?
So that's from Viridis Pythons.
Is that a Vladimir? Not Vladimir. Who's Viridis Pythons? Dave, not Dave.
No, what's his name?
He's Vibrant Viridis.
Vibrant, yes, Vibrant Viridis.
That's Dave D, right? Or no?
Hold on. Let me see real quick.
That Vibrant Viridis is Dave D. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also
Russian dude.
Yeah, it is a Russian dude. Oh my god, it's a dude. He's in Cali, right? Isn't he in LA?
Vitaly.
Yeah,
Vitaly.
Vitaly. Sorry. So yes, that was a red Neo. That was a Maniquari that he was holding back. I had bought in 2 from that same clutch that were yellows, and he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, since you've already gotten 2 from me, I have this red one. Are you interested?" And I was like, "Yes." Is it a female?
That's badass. That's a badass snake right there.
Thank you.
Real badass. Do you have that? Is this a Drew Russell one you're talking about?
No, that's Sumo. That's one of the ones that my mom helped me acquire from Garrick.
Damn, you should name this one after your
Oh, wow. That's badass.
That's Sumo. So it's funny you bring those 2 up. My goal was to pair him with that one from Vitalia.
Yeah,
this year.
I'm trying to see. You have an updated photo of those by chance?
She's right there.
Right here?
Go down right there in the middle.
Right here. Okay. Right
yeah,
here?
that's the female. Yeah.
And so she's pretty much at breeding size, you would say now.
Yeah,
right?
she's a little under 800 grams. So I actually was getting ready to start cycling, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna wait another year. She's just not where I want her to be.
Well, how old is she? She 3?
She's coming up on 4 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was just like, and that's the other one that I got from Garrett too. So that one in Sumo, that's
oh my god.
Oaxaca. So that's a female. Sumo is a male.
How much of that black is still there?
Can I pull her out to show you?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
By all means.
Here we go. I was like, I can get up.
MJ, you wanted more show and tell.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, that's what people want. I want to see this shit. All right, I'm gonna give you the big screen, buddy. Okay, so
that's fine. So definitely not as much as what's in the photo, but she still has some.
Yeah, that still has black in it for sure. What were you gonna say, Bill? I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, good size too. But yeah, she's close to being ready.
This is another one that I was holding off on this year as well. I was looking to do 4 clutches this year or try to do 4 pairings, but 3 of the females just weren't where I was hoping they were going to be at. So I just backed off. So now I'm just doing, I went from 4 to 1 back to 2. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens this year. I'm getting ready to pair up males next month.
She looks close. I would say like next year, she'd be fucking prime, I think.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, she looks good.
I'm hoping so. Thank you guys.
Female, that's sick.
Patience pays off.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
It's literally on your side. If you're able to like, join the whole side of patience, which is a lot easier said than done, it really does pay off. But like I said, easier said than done.
So you said you're about to start pairing things up in a month?
Yes, I've got 2 females that are almost done cycling. They're ready to go. They're done cycling. I've been cycling them for over 2.5 months. Because I wanted to do it slow instead of just dropping the temps and making it super cold. Because I'm, knock on wood, I don't want any RIs. I've never had to deal with any of that. So I didn't want to like stun them, I guess. Or would you guys consider that kind of stunning them if you went from, 84 all of a sudden down to like low 70s?
No, I do that now. My
really?
room
Just instantly, like over one night.
No, so basically, obviously, it's gradual, right? Because I'm in San Diego, and so I like to do mostly like ambient. I do whatever is really happening outside, but to a certain point, right? So my room will get to 82, and then it drops down to like 72. Like, so I have like a 10-degree drop, maybe not as much. Sometimes like 74, 75. Right now, because it's the coldest time of year, my room gets to 72. But as soon as I wake up, I get this room slowly backing up to like 80 again. And so by the time 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hits, my room's like 79, 80. They just they have to get back to the thermal regulation point of heat. You know, I think if you give them cold for too long, then that's when things become a problem. Like that, cold for too long, not giving the right kind of heat at the right time, and then like that with stress, I think that's kind of what causes. But you know, who knows?
Hey, Tyler, are you doing any kind of cycling other than temperature?
No, I'm not actually. I've heard that you can do food cycling. I've not tried food cycling yet. I've just done temperature. That's what I did last year, and probably beginner's luck.
What about light cycling? Are you light cycling at all?
So I do 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So here at 8:30, all these lights behind me are they're gonna turn off, and then for 1 minute it's completely dark, and then red lights come in. So if I need to come in and do any maintenance during the evening, it's just all red light in here.
So do you have windows in the room or not?
I do have one window, but that as soon as the sun goes down, the window gets totally shut, and it's like a black light curtain or a blacked out curtain, so no light comes in the room.
So are you doing 12 hours on, 12 hours off light cycling year round? So you're not decreasing the light, or you are? Or
yeah, I guess that would be, yeah, that's what I do. So would you consider that that's two forms of cycling then, heat and light? But if I'm doing light year round, does that really count?
Well, unless you change your light cycle, then it's not light cycling.
I don't change it. I guess, obviously in the summertime, the light, the sun stays out longer.
Yeah.
So once it, there'll be times where their light's already off, but it's still
light outside.
Light outside a little bit. That's when I'll come up and just pull their drapes and blinds down.
Does that window shine in a lot of daylight? Like, can it get bright in that room if it wanted to?
Yep. This window faces the west, so it gets full light all day.
Yeah.
Every day. That's why my glass looks like crap, because I was experiencing like no condensation on the front of the glass, and then I'm gonna assume it's the UV rays coming in, and it's like frying or cooking the water to the glass, and then I'm ending up with water spots. And
that's just the
all
water.
Day yesterday I tried sanding, I tried acetone, I tried scraping with razor blades. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to make new glass.
CLR works pretty well.
Tried it, nothing.
You tried rubbing alcohol?
Nothing. I soaked a full piece of glass in CLR for 10 minutes. Nothing.
And nothing? Wow.
I used 800 grit wet sandpaper. Nothing.
Try to if you start incorporating RO water,
it all goes away
into your spraying water or your humidifier water. It'll stop that.
Yeah.
And I wish, so a little background. My dad works for Culligan. He's been there for 35 years. So
nice.
I've got a water softener here in the rental property. I've got bottled water, like RO water, like you said, and they don't get sprayed with anything other than RO. They drink RO. Obviously, like when I'm cleaning their glass, like I'm rinsing the glass off, but that's water or softened water, so there's no calcium, magnesium in it.
I wonder why you're getting all those water spots or stains. Then
I think maybe like he's saying, the sun, the
UV rays coming through.
If it's wet,
window.
Yeah, it's kind of like you wash your car. Like when you wash your car and you don't dry it off, and then you let the sun dry it off, you see all the spots on the car. It's kind of like that right there. I think, Bill, maybe in a sense. I don't know.
And I noticed since I did this, so facing me, like what I'm facing, I have a whole nother stack kind of like behind me. But those don't get any sun from the window. All that glass looks brand new, prestige, and it's not getting any of like the UV direct rays on it.
Do you have a temp gun, Tyler? Or something like to read temps for you at all, like other than your thermostats? Like, do you have anything to like that you read temps off of? Because I'm just curious, like how much heat is actually putting into the enclosure.
So each enclosure has one of these govies.
Yeah,
and these sit right in the middle of the top perch in the center of the cage.
Yeah. Are you there? Do you ever look inside wondering like, or have you seen what the temps are peak like daytime when the sun is shining through? Have you ever noticed anything?
Peak temperatures they're actually pretty consistent right in the middle. Like I said, right now, anywhere from 80 to 81 degrees, just right in the center of the enclosure.
Even when we're getting sunlight.
I'm telling you, when when the sun's blaring on the glass
on the window.
Like we're talking about how it's getting that UV lighting, but I'm wondering like what is actually putting heat in that enclosure from the lighting,
Yeah, but
So-
your heat panels, would kick off during those high periods
Right.
of
Yeah,
natural.
but I'm wondering how hot. I'm wondering how hot even when the
So
heat
during the
panels are off.
summer, this room, because I keep this Govee right here on my desk, I've seen it get all the way to like 84 degrees in here.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And like just so you guys can see, like this is the window right here.
Oh, so it's
So
closed.
I
The window's right
keep
there.
I keep these shut all day. Obviously, light can still come through, but if I have those open all the time, like these enclosures right here, their glass just gets
I see.
cooked.
Yeah,
it's like a
closed. It's
UV
right there.
ray damage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Um,
Even if you keep the blind like the light because you have a lighter shade that you can
yeah,
put
like a
over-
sham.
Yeah.
So since I started to close those, I've not had as much damage to the glass. They definitely helped out.
Interesting.
So I want to reach out. I have a client that, well, I was a client to him, but I got my windows tinted from him, and him and his wife own a business, and they do different tints and films. And I guess at the Botanic Gardens in Denver, they did all the tinting for the big giant greenhouse, so it doesn't have the UV rays coming in.
Yeah.
So I was even thinking, once I redo all the glass, have him come over and just tint that window, so I don't have UV rays coming through.
Hey, Tyler, has the females that produced for you, are they on one side of the room versus the other?
Yeah.
Or
They're both on the same side. They're located in the closet. You brought up a photo when you were showing off the focus rack. So they're both in the closet on the very bottom row. And before I had this center stack island blocking part of the window, that those enclosures would get sun rays as well, and part of their glass got messed up too. So the first two bottom enclosures of each side are where the females were.
Damn, super red light district in your room right now.
Yeah, that
That's
was
cool.
that
So
was
this
a
is
couple
night. So
years
this is
back.
So nighttime. This is like so when it is not dark in there and the lights are off, you prefer the red lights. That's what you have on in there, right?
I do, and in this video they're obviously super bright, but I have them dimmed down to like 1%, and then I ask Alexa, turn snake lights to dark red,
Yeah.
and it's almost like being in a dark room for a developing film.
Nice.
But it doesn't stay on all night. I only have it on for like 2 hours, and then it shuts off. And then if I go into the room, I turn it on just to make sure like everybody's doing good. Nobody went to the bathroom or anything like that. And then once I leave the room, it just goes back to pitch black.
Who's this from?
That one's a lucky yellow right there. She started off as a yellow. I got that one from Underground Reptiles right before
you son
they.
of a bitch! I like you.
Yes, that was a lucky one. I got so lucky with her.
Damn,
She's
you
a
got me from
Jaya
Underground?
Biak. I got two. I
Dude.
got her in a red one. I wanted 2 reds, and they messaged me. They're like, "Well, we only have a red and a yellow," and I was like, "Okay, I'll take them." So
Damn.
I got her. She got tested immediately. Parasites for Nido, any viruses, and
Yeah.
she's been clean. And she was actually another one that I wanted to pair this year with the sibling that you share from me from Socrates.
Yeah.
what
Dude.
does the red one look like? That's the yellow one. What does the red one look like?
So
What locality is that, or is that a cross?
Yeah. Jaya Biak.
so Jaya Biak is what they said the locality
Huh.
was, but
I know you. I know you. You had a red. You had one down here.
it's right. Go up real quick.
No, hold on.
Her sibling, from
Where
what
at?
they say, right there in the middle.
This one.
Yep, that's what the red one looks like. It's obviously lost a lot of that blue, but still has a lot of the yellow.
Biak. Yeah, it looks more of a classic Biak, but
And
not.
she
classic.
is actually one that I am going to be pairing this year. I'm going to pair a male Cyclops to her.
Damn. So these are both females. These turned out to be both females for you.
Both females, yeah.
Fucking A. That's sick. That's a score right there.
I got lucky with her, yeah. Or if you go down, the one that's on my finger like a ring, that was the high yellow. Or
All right, right here.
yeah, that was her as a
Nice.
baby.
Look how busy she is. She has a lot going on in her right here.
From Underground Reptiles, I got lucky with her.
So do they tell you do you have any clue where they got them? Will they tell you that or no? No.
No, I'm assuming they were probably farm bred.
They got zero clue, bro. It's all fucking just.
And I was kind of shocked that they didn't have any parasites, because I've gone down that road where, you know, they've had ringworm or hookworm, and I've had to treat that, and I don't have any issues treating it, but it was just a learning curve, and that's what kind of started steering me away from, you know, the reptile stores, the you know, the reptile shows, and just going straight captive bred.
Hey, there was a picture that popped up that I was looking at earlier. It's like a little tub that's got 3 eggs in it. Those aren't chondro eggs, are they? Or what are they?
Fuck no.
How,
What the fuck are these?
So those are the 2 ball pythons. I have those downstairs. Those are the community snakes. That was a surprise. I did not think they were gonna be linked up, and all of a sudden she went off feed and produced 3 eggs, and we actually ended up hatching those out, and they were just a super pastel bred to just a normal ball python, but that was
nice.
not planned or anything. So I actually gave those to my cousin. I was like, here you guys go for your kiddos. So
Gotta love a surprise like that.
I couldn't tell what they were. I was like, man, those look long for chondro eggs.
yeah, and I probably should do a little bit better on my social media, just labeling things so more people know what I'm posting and showing. So
I let people guess it sometimes. They can figure it out. That's fucking funny though. All right, so I'm trying to find one of your babies. Maybe is this the baby that you made right here? Is this your clutch? Are these from your clutch or no? Am I tripping? No,
I don't.
No.
It's like I can show you the last 2 I have. I have one from each clutch. One of them, wifey wants to hold back, and then the other one was the first one to come out of the egg. So I kind of was considering him a holdback just because of his pattern and his dorsal, but at the same time, he is available. But I was like, if he doesn't sell, if nobody wants him, then I'm going to keep him because it's the
Show
first
him. Let's
one
see
that
him.
was produced. Yeah.
I've never heard of a good condor that doesn't sell. It's not in our world. They sell. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And I think, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm still new to this. I don't think I advertised enough. I actually know that's what happened, but so this was a sarong maniquari.
That's pretty. I like that. Marshall,
Obviously, it was a yellow, obviously.
Looks like it's got good size.
Yeah. Well, how old is that?
This guy was born May 22nd.
Okay.
Of 2024.
It's about 9 months now. 10 months.
Yeah.
9 months. Wow.
9 months.
And what was it like establishing your clutches, man? Let's kind of talk about what you've gone through, because you know, again, everyone has different stories. You got people with 0 prolapses out there. You got people who everything eats for them. But I'm curious. Let's talk about it.
Honestly, I learned so much last year, good and bad.
Amen. Sounds about right.
I had 19 eggs from my first clutch, and then I had 14 eggs from my second one. And I want to say between the 2 clutches, I probably lost 10 babies. I had multiple prolapses, and I was trying to figure out why. And I think it was, maybe due to like dehydration. They just weren't hydrated enough, which I spray these guys a lot, so they definitely stay hydrated. But I couldn't quite figure out exactly what was causing the prolapses. Wasn't overfeeding. That's actually was a problem. It was just trying to get some to start eating. And that's why we lost a couple of them. Just they wouldn't eat. And I'm like, well, I'll do my best to assist feed, but at some point, Mother Nature is going to take their course.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. You can only do so much sometimes. Is that the second one you're going to be considering letting go of, or maybe?
So this is the one that the wifey wants to keep. This is a Maniquari Biok.
She has a good eye.
So she's like, nope, I want to keep this one.
Damn, that's nice, bro. That's going to turn out really bitchin'.
I would love for this one to stay yellow, kind of like that Jaya Biok from Underground. That would be sweet if that happened.
That might have some really cool blue in it, man. I mean, it's kind of what those monocories are known for, especially with the cool markings on it, And when you add, Biak's just a wild card. I feel like Biak could do anything to that snake. So I don't know. Definitely a good idea with your wife wanting to keep back that one. That one looks really nice. But let's go back to the prolapses. I mean, me and Bill talked back and forth so many times about like, is it hydration? Like Bill keeps shit over water. I mean, we've done things where we know they're drinking, where we would think they're drinking. But Bill, like, what's your take on his prolapse scenario here?
I wish I could figure it out. You know, I
don't think it's just one factor.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think there can be a lot of factors involved. Man, we beat prolapse theories to death on this podcast and other places. I think sometimes, you know, you just don't know. I know I've had a clutch that had a genetic propensity to prolapse. Half the clutch prolapsed, which is, you know, exceptionally high. But I could just tell by looking at the animals, they didn't perch quite right and multiple prolapses. And then I ended up losing, I think, all of them that prolapsed in that clutch. And then I've had many other clutches that there have been no prolapse, and, you know, they kept the exact same way, kept the same way, fed the same way, you know, same conditions. So, you know, again, I wish there was a magic prolapse bullet out there, but I just unfortunately don't think there is.
And I'll say to that, Tyler, you know, the most recent one, fuck, I got PTSD, but the clutch before that one, I had, you know, the most success I ever had. Then I had, of course, at least 2 of these fuckers prolapse on me. And it was, I guess, you know, I guess as you'll come to find out, there's levels to these prolapses. Like there's small ones and there's really severe ones. Luckily, the ones that I've had recently were 2 pretty small ones that went back in on their own. But I didn't get shy with the food, like meaning I took the perch out for a week. But as soon as I saw them wanting to eat, I fucking gave them a good sized meal. And sure enough, they shit and no prolapse. And I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard to really determine. Like I always was wondering, like, you know, I had a clutch a few years back where 7 of them prolapsed, and they were just dropping one after another. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I knew it wasn't the hydration, but then I was feeding them these red hot pinks, like the really, really tiny pinks, because I was worried about overfeeding them. And so I was thinking maybe I wasn't giving them enough. Maybe they're trying to shit something that they can't shit out, you know?
They're trying to push too hard and it ends up pushing.
Yeah, and I noticed too that was a clutch that were like whenever they would shit, it was smeared everywhere. Now with this clutch, you know, I'm getting full turds like that are there. They're not smeared. So I'm just not shy with the fucking food no more. If these Neos could take it, they're getting it, man. And that's why I'm a big fucking. I'm sticking to the whole 3 pinks. Give it to them, and then they're going straight to button quail. Like I'm giving them something big and fucking ready to rock and roll. Because I think once they get on that roll and they start working like a proper machine, they shit good. Everything, you know. I don't know.
Tyler, were the 10 or 12 that you had prolapse, were they from both of the clutches?
From both, yeah. Some from each.
Yeah, couple from each.
And I will say, everybody that prolapsed, all the prolapses, I either got to go back in or they went in on themselves. No issues after that.
Great.
There was 2 that, like, I came in, you know, early in the morning just to check on them. Went back literally an hour later, and they had prolapsed, like they were trying to go to the bathroom. So I took them out, and I was just, you know, running them underneath the sink just to clean off their prolapse. And I could see that there was almost like fecal still stuck in the cloaca. Is that correct? The cloaca, like you kind of see
in the asshole.
Yeah. So, you know, I gave it just a little bit of a massage, nothing harsh. Came right out. Boom. Within
went back
5 to 10 minutes, went back in by itself. It's just like it just got stuck. Like you just needed a little bit of help just getting it out. Had that happen like 2 or 3 times, no issues. It went back in right by itself.
Usually the severe ones, there's shit stuck in there, and they just can't get it out, and it's not gonna get fixed unless you get that shit out. And it's that, man, I'll never forget, man. My first prolapse, I could see the shit in there, but like it was in there, like it wasn't sticking out. You could just see there's a shit in that prolapse, and I remember watching Gary's video, and he's like, you got to work that shit out, and I was like, this little tiny Neo, I'm thinking this thing's dead. Like I was so stressed out, I'll never forget. But then once I got the shit out and went back in, then it died after that.
And I had a couple that did that too. I had it was actually a red Neo I was really bummed about, because the reds, you know, the second clutch from the Biak Manaquari was red heavy. There was more reds than yellows, and ended up flipping around because a lot of the reds passed away, and it prolapsed. I cleaned it off. I actually, because it would not go in by itself, so I put some preparation H on it, and I used I actually made up my own little probe because I didn't have any probes because I don't like to probe animals, but ended up, you know, working it back in, put it down here in a separate baby rack that I have where there's no perch. It has bottom heat, so if it's laying on the ground in the back, it's not going to get cold. It ended up going back in by itself, stayed in this quarantine tub for, I want to say like 6 days, took it out, put it back in its enclosure. It went up and perched, was doing fine for 1 to 2 days, and all of a sudden was dead. And I'm like, what? I was like, okay, did it potentially slither through some of the preparation H on the paper towel? Did it die? I don't know. I just little things like that going through my head, like, okay, did it poison itself? I don't know.
Doubt it. Just wasn't meant to be.
And it was a bummer too, because it was an established eater, and all of a sudden, just randomly one day it prolapsed. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
Well, yeah, and also like I had his number 10 out of that clutch. I think on its 6th meal, just rolled and died. No issues. It just recently had a shed, and it was like one of the ones I was even considering like holding back. Like it was doing great. Just came in dead. Just rolled on the ground. No, didn't even see it coming, which is wild to me. But all you can do is look at what you still have and be thankful. That's all you can do. That's it.
I will say I learned so much this year, and I'm grateful for all the good things that happened, all the bad things that happened, and I became a good gardener because, you know, take them down in the garden and bury them.
You got to have a deep freezer, buddy.
I got good at digging holes. So.
I'll say that on the few adults that I've ever had prolapse, it's been because of that, like where you could see the feces, you know, the turd kind of like outside the body. One of them I had, it was like it had gotten somehow turned 90 degrees in the, you know, in the digestive tract. So just, you know, kind of like you're saying, lightly massaged it, and man, whenever that happens, most of the time they just suck right back in on their own. It's crazy.
Pause. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. If it doesn't happen to you, then good luck. Like keep that streak going. But
yeah, keep bragging about
it. After the first 2, I was like, I already know what to do. This ain't nothing. Okay. Call client, hey, you know, I'm gonna be a couple minutes late. I got a animal that's butt's hanging out. I gotta help it. So
yeah. You don't understand the situation.
And they all know me. They're every time I show up, hey, how are the babies doing? How are the animals doing? I'm like, they're all doing as good as they can do. So
yeah. I feel bad for now that I'm thinking about it, when I had all those prolapses happening to me, oh man, I felt so bad for my wife, because she would try to come in and see like what, and I would just be like the further you are away from me right now, like it's just gonna be better for everybody. You know what I mean? Just because I was so caught into my own, like, what's happening? Like, why is this happening? You know what I mean? And so, but this is a chondro growing pains, man. But then not everybody goes through them, I guess. But you know, listen, not to hate on anyone who doesn't go through prolapses, but I feel like it's just a matter of fucking time. Like if you're really producing these chondros to any level, like Bill or Marshall or even doing, you're gonna see a prolapse. I don't give a fuck what you say. And unless you have the records to prove this, I don't know. I don't believe people.
Yeah, it doesn't help after you get done drinking a cup of coffee and you go into the room and you see a prolapse. You're like, okay, like I am way too amped up for this right now. I need to calm down, but you can't just snap it away like that. So it's just like, okay, go to my happy place and just.
It's like assist feeding. Sometimes you don't know if it's more stressful on you or on the animal, you know, because you're just like.
Yep. And I tend to just be a little shaky sometimes, especially if I'm, you know, drinking, you know, an energy drink or some coffee. So like with assist feeding, if I have it partially in their mouth, I'm trying to sit there and just hold them, but I'm like shaking. So I'm like holding my hand. I'm like, no, just go back in the tub. But as soon as you put them back in the tub, they drop it. I'm like, ah.
I mean, okay, Bill, Marshall, how many nights have you guys had where you just woke up in the middle of the night just to see if the Neil's still alive? Has any of you guys done that?
Oh, yeah. A ton. Every time, like it's even still to this day, like whenever you assist feed them, it's like, huh, you wonder, because sometimes, man, you'll get the pinky down and it'll be okay. It'll perch, and then like you go back the next day, dead.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've had that exact thing happen with an expensive animal. Like,
Yeah.
darn it, that sucks, but what's it meant to be?
What's your ratio right now, adult breeders, like, as far as male to female? What are your numbers looking at?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 9 males and
Good male
2,
stock.
3, 4, 6, and 15 females.
Fuck yeah. Oof. And
So-
those are adults, not babies, right?
Yeah, juvenile, so anywhere from 2.5 years to 4 years of age.
Damn.
How are you sexing those?
I strictly just look at the shed. I'm not gonna say I'm one to even try to probe. No way.
Fuck
So
yeah.
you
I
just-
try to stay away from it too.
Yeah, just strictly just shed. It's funny. I had a Cyclops from. Is it? I want to pronounce it correctly. Vitalia or Vitalia?
The Vitali, the guy we just talked about?
Yeah,
Yeah, Vitali.
Vitali. I had
Yeah.
a Cyclops from him that I thought was a female for the first 2.5 years, and then all of a sudden went off feed and shed, and sperm plugs are right there. I'm like,
What?
you're a male? I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that. So, but yeah, just what about you, Bill? How are you sexting yours? Are you probing? Are you looking for sheds? Are you doing DNA testing on the sheds? Or
Can't do the DNA testing anymore, but once they turn about 18 months, then I probe them.
okay,
Sometimes, I don't know. For me, it's usually more than 18 months old before I can get accurate shed. In most cases, especially on females, you get some of these that they shed, and you just, well, maybe it's a female, maybe it's not, but I just at 18 months, then I just probe them, and that's usually pretty accurate. I'd say 90% accuracy. If you get comfortable probing, I think it's definitely, unless you're super, super experienced, a 2-person job. And it doesn't have to be 2 experienced people. Like I remember before I had Alex, my wife, would help me.
Yeah.
But I'd hold the head, and all she had to do was elongate the body. I'd hold the head with one hand, and then I'd probe with the other hand, and she'd just hold the body straight and still. And my wife, she fucking hates snakes. Well, I won't say she hates them. She likes to look at them, but she won't even hold a snake.
that's like my father.
As long as I hold the head, and she knows I'm not going to let go of the head, then she'll straighten out the body, and then I use my other hand and probe it, and
How do you probe with one hand though?
It's not hard. It's not hard. I mean, as long as the body's straight and elongated, it's super easy just to take your hand and just stick it in the pocket.
You gotta have that right. You gotta have the right hands, Marshall.
What about you, Marshall? How do you?
Now I just tell Alex to sex it.
Now, my wife has always helped me, but she holds the head and the body, and then I've got 2 hands on the
Damn,
tail.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, you're one up on me then.
I don't know if I could do it one-handed. Because if you could do it one-handed, then you could just use like a snake tube.
Yeah, I could use it too.
Okay.
Sounds stressful though. I'd rather just wait.
It'd be nice if you could use like the ultrasound like Socrates uses.
Oh,
Just
the butterfly. They
just
came out with the cheaper version, bro. Like, and I'm
in it
curious.
right over the tail.
They came out with one that's only $900 versus 4K, and I'm wondering, like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm curious to see if that works good. Because that whole like hooking it up to your phone and just be able to see it on your phone, it's fucking pretty sick. I think.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But Marshall, what's your take on sexing your holdbacks from last year? Like, are you determined to probe them, or you rather just wait to see what the sheds show you?
Nah, unless I'm going to sell them, I'll just shed test them. Test them by looking at sheds. I mean, you can tell the males. Every time, as soon as you see the male one time, it's a male.
Yeah.
And then like the first time I'll catch a female, I'll like write on the tag, female ? And then I'll look for another one, and 2 or 3. By the time they go 2 or 3 times where you're pretty sure it's a female, then you know. A male, like I said, a male you can tell pretty much the first time you see it. You're like, okay, that one's a male, and you can just take it off the list of unknowns.
Yeah.
But you can probe them. I just, if I was going to sell them, I would probe them just because it's, immediately instead of having to wait for potentially a year or longer. But if I'm not going to sell them, I just do it by shed.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tyler, as far as just like, because I'm in no rush, first and foremost, and I don't plan on, like, if I'm going to have something at that stage where it's going to show me the sex, I'm just going to keep the snake. I'd rather just hold it at that point. But I will tell you one thing, like, I've been duped before. I for sure thought like I had a female, and all of a sudden I've seen plugs. That's why I feel like it's better off just really considering it when the snake's like 3-4 years old. Because I mean, when a snake's like at that maturity, most of the time you could see if it's leaning female or male if you're not getting any plugs. You know what I mean? Sometimes.
Yeah, but by that age, you can tell. Like, if you get a good female shed, you can tell.
Yeah,
just like you can a male,
Yeah, because the females have their own way of showing what they have.
Like a butterfly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some males be packing small dicks, though. I'm just saying. You never know. You know what I mean? Like,
well, apparently the male that I had, because like I said, he was like 2.5 years old, and he never went off feed. He was kind of a stubborn eater at some points where like he wouldn't strike, but if I stuck it in his coil, he would grab it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up with you? And then one day he just went off feed and started cruising, and then shed. And I was like, you're a boy. I was like, you're almost 3 years old, and you were identifying as a girl. Okay.
Sure enough.
Well, it's kind of a similar vein. At 18 months old, when I'm sexing these animals, when you probe an animal and it probes male, I mean, it's male. Like, it swallows the probe. It's like, holy shit, can it really go that far in? And then there's others where they're kind of, tweeners, where maybe it goes in six scales, and not 14.
But it stops. Like, it stops a lot sooner, like you're saying, right, Bill?
Yeah. So if I probe a male, I mean, I know it's male, like, no doubt. And then a lot of other times, you'll probe a female and it'll be 4 scales, and you go, well, that's a female. And that can be valuable to know when they're 18 months old. 2 years ago, I produced a clutch that ended up at 18 months being very male heavy. And so, man, I sold 6 males that I had intended on, holding back. But there was male heavy. There was a great age to sell them. They're going through their OCC. So I think it can be a valuable tool to have to be able to probe accurately.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure.
One day, maybe. I'm not brave enough now.
I'll tell you what, put your teeth probing ball pythons. And then, I probed 1,000 ball pythons probably before I probed my first chondro.
Yeah.
You probe ball pythons just for practice or what? Or what?
No, once they get to be, once a ball python gets to be a couple years old, then I'll probe it.
Oh, you can't pop them anymore.
Just pop it.
You probably could, but a ball python at 2 years old, I won't even try to pop. I'll just probe it.
There's definitely a technique to it. I popped an adult before. It's hard.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever probed a ball python.
Me neither.
Does popping the animal put more stress on them than probing?
I mean, on a chondro, you don't want to pop shit on a chondro.
Well, no, definitely not a chondro.
Yeah,
I just think,
pythons.
period.
Yeah,
ball pythons are fine with it.
Yeah,
babies are fine.
Yeah, ball pythons are fucking tanks. You can do whatever you want.
Like, I've seen it done, but it stresses me out to see someone do it. I was like,
I don't like
animal
it.
Okay, but
yeah.
I'll tell you what, you want to like mess your world up, try popping blood pythons.
No thanks. Fuck that.
Take shit all over. Bitch.
All over. And even females, like, if you don't know females, if you pop a baby blood python, you'll think everyone is male, because even the females have very large, I don't even know what the female gland is called, but you can be fooled easily with popping blood pythons.
No. Popping.
And they spray you, don't they? Like, I remember mine that
Alex used to hate when I would call him and say, "Hey, I've got 20 baby Borneos that need to be popped," and you go, "Fuck."
Alex looks like he likes a sprain.
He does not, trust me, and I don't either. It's nasty.
So I got to ask you, Tyler. We haven't talked much about like what you like to feed your adults. Obviously, different ways people like to choose. But what are you, a rat guy, mice guy, a little bit of both? ASF. What do you feed your adults?
I feed my adults. I feed them extra large mice.
Oh, cool. Just mice.
Yeah, I just do mice. I have one stubborn eater, Sumo from House of Blue. He only eats rats. He went off feed his second year, and the only thing that I could get him to eat was mice, or was rats. Sorry, excuse me. And from here on out, it's only been rats. There's only been like 2 cases where I've had a rat, like just a small one, part of the head that, fell off in the bag. So I was like, waved that in front of him, got him super interested, and snuck a mouse in there. And he took it, tried it with him last night. He knows the difference. It's crazy.
Oh,
He's like, nope, I don't want it. And he'll headbutt it and strike it. As soon as I put the rat in there, boom.
Yeah, some of these fuckers get picky for sure.
He's my bougie one, I guess, that I have to just order special food for. But everybody else eats mice. I feed my adults every 14 days, 14 to 15 days. If they're in shed,
one XL mice every 14 days.
Extra large mice, yeah.
Just one though, right? Just making sure.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, no, not more than one. And then if they're in shed, I wait till they're done shedding to even offer them food. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave you alone.
What about his baby? I want to ask you guys all this question. But what if you're neonate? Like, let's say it's feeding day, right? You see a neonate in shed. Do you guys still offer, or do you pass?
You guys, I'll answer, but you guys go too.
Go first.
No, if it's I don't. If it's a snake that's
somebody go first. Damn it.
Marshall does. I do, and almost every neo in shed will eat.
Me too. Yeah.
Marshall
does it. Marshall, I didn't really understood you. You do not, or you do?
No, I don't. I'll skip over them. Now, Neos, I'll skip over them. Yeah. Now, ball python Neos we eat, but chondro Neos, I've never had great luck feeding the ones that are opaque.
Wow.
So if I see them, I just skip. Same with adults.
I'm the complete opposite.
I get luck with them right when they're getting out of their shed. Like right when they're out, they look hungry, but they look like they're in shed. I'll still feed them.
I feed mine, especially if they're taking interest and they're aware when I'm feeding the other ones, coming off the perch and flicking their tongue crazy at me when I open their tub. I'm like, okay, here you go.
If you want it, you're getting it.
I've had good luck with them. One of them yesterday that was looks like he was coming right at his shed where, he was clearing up and he'll be shut in the next couple of days. He took. I've had one that was like in mid-half shed, and I was like, well, let's try it. If not, then I waste a pinky mouse, and boom, took it. So I've had good luck with feeding them during shed.
Yeah. Also, people have had good luck feeding them pre-post shed, like their pre-first shed. Like, have you ever tried offering a baby before it even had its first shed? Did you have any luck with that?
I did not. I waited till they shed just because I was kind of new to it, but I had read, and heard from, I think even on some of your guys' other podcasts that you've done that I've offered it prior to pre-shed and then after.
Yeah.
And I personally never tried it. I just waited till they all shed and then started the feeding trials, and that's when.
Did you ever try anything besides pinkies?
I tried like the rat tails. I tried some chicken gizzard. I think I actually messaged you, Bill, about the chicken gizzard when you were posting about it. And I was like, where'd you get that? You're like, just the supermarket. I didn't know what chicken gizzard was. I was like, okay. Had a little bit of good luck with the chicken gizzard, the rat tail. No luck with that, but just scenting. I even tried scenting the pinkies in like chicken broth. No luck with that. I even bought like that. I think Gary has it on one of his stubborn eating videos where you clean the pinky mouse and then you scent it with like the gecko scent juice.
Yeah.
No luck with that. So
that's been my experience. with Gary's magic scentless hand soap. Yeah, that shit didn't work for me.
The 7th generation hand soap, it takes the odor away, but I just haven't had luck with it.
I'll be damn. I'll be damned if I wash my Ronin off. I don't give a fuck.
I've even tried asking people that. Like I think Garrick, defrosts his in a bag, doesn't let him hydrate in water, and
Here's the thing.
good luck with that. I used to feed mine like that.
You're gonna find out everybody has their own thing. Like at some
Everybody
point,
does.
everybody has their thing that works for. Bill has a thing that works for Bill. Marshall has fucking whatever Marshall has, and fucking you just like and you can try to tell people what works for you, but dude, you just got to find out what works for you. Like it's so like there's so many goddamn things you're gonna go through figuring out like what it is that you feel good when it comes to approaching a clutch, first meals and ones that aren't eating. But I gotta tell you, the more you have in your toolbox, the better. Like the more you have options to go to versus stressing out and going to assist feed, the better for sure.
I will say that the feeling and the emotion you get when you can get a baby Neo to eat,
awesome.
You're unstoppable. You can go do whatever, go buy a lotto ticket, and then you go to the next one, nothing. You're just like, oh, okay.
I'm telling you from experience, that feeling never changes. It doesn't matter how many I produce. Every time I get a baby to eat for its first time, I'm like doing the
neither of those feelings change.
And then you get it to eat the first time, and then the next time you go to get it to eat, and it's just like not interested. You're just like, what's going on?
Bro, I got my ass handed to me this year with that clutch because I had all these good eaters, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. I went back. Nobody was like, it was like, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, are we just meeting? Like, what's happening? Like, what did you just do 5 days ago? Like,
that's the worst, man. That's the worst.
But then I found out, okay, this was a different time of the day. And then you like go through, okay, which ones like to eat at what time? And then I was realizing the ones that were acting stubborn, I would check on them at night and they're looking at you like this. And you're like, oh my God. So you want to eat at night. And then you find one that likes to eat in the morning, and it gets wild, bro. It gets all like, I don't know. I think that what happens is when people have like a set like time that they could feed the Neos, dude, you're going to have Neos that just don't want to eat during that time. Like, and that's why it is something that, it is what it is, but it keeps you up out of your sleep. You wake up and just, you want to look at that Neo that just keeps not wanting to eat. And you're wondering, is it hungry right now? Like it's 2 a.m. And sure enough, I've had Neos eat at 2 a.m. Like giving me a sign that they're hungry. I'll fucking thaw something out right there. Won't go to bed. And I want to see if it's going to eat. And sure enough, bro, they eat right there. If they give you that look and they're like, what the fuck, dude, feed it right then and there. Don't even wait. It's ready. It's giving you the sign. You know what I mean? But I mean, people are willing to wake up out of bed 2, 3 a.m. and just basically obsess over this, which you have to do. I'm sorry, but you have to obsess over this.
And it's a good thing I'm a night owl because I'm up here 3, 4 a.m, just checking on them, hanging out with them, but don't have to wake up until 10 or
talking
11,
to Harlan.
So.
Hey, Harlan. Call it 2 a.m. What are you doing, buddy?
Right, or down in the garage building enclosures, having order. Yeah, I'm always doing something with these snakes or playing cornhole, one of the two. So always something.
How so if we could talk about once you get your females all grown, ready to go, like what's a good happy medium as far as how many clutches you want per year at some point, you feel like? What's a goal for you, Tyler?
A goal is to have, I'm okay with having less clutches, but I want more established babies and healthy babies. That's obviously the main goal. But like I said, I was shooting for 4 this year. I was like, let's go for it. It's only going to make me better. It's not going to make me worse. I'm either going to learn and succeed or learn and fail.
That's the way I look at it. I mean,
but
it's a good outlook. Yeah.
Yeah. One clutch or 5 clutches, there's going to be something.
Yeah. Well, and like that male that I threw in at the beginning of, last year, thinking, okay, this is going to be the male that produces. He chickened out, and I had I already had a female cycled for the other male, but I was like, let's see if this male is good enough to go for both of them. And he did. He got the job done. So
that male that chickened out, has he been breeding at all, or is he just not?
I've never had, last year was the first year I've tried to cycle and breed. But no, not that I'm aware of. He's coming up on 6 years this year. So cycling this year has at least what I've witnessed, he's definitely cruising a lot more at night. And I think just his cage, since it's up on the top of the stack, just wasn't getting as cold as it should have.
Mm.
And just totally turning his temperature off at night, because the enclosure underneath probably was warming it up a little bit, and then having the door shut.
Yeah.
That made a huge difference, and he's cruising around. So I'm hoping he does good this year. He's a beautiful Drew Russell animal.
Oh, I had it pulled up. I think it's this one right now. I think you is it
And I can
DR
even-
DR 1908?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's check this guy. This guy's
So,
nice. I like this one. And this one you bought how long ago from recent, like it got it as a baby, right?
So I did not have it as a baby. It was
Wow.
it was sold to another gentleman.
Oh wow, look at that.
Wasn't like that when I got it.
God
It was
damn.
sold to sorry, I can't remember your name right now. I'd have to look at my phone, but I think he was a little over 2.5 years of age and already identifying as a male when I got him. So when I got him, he looked like that. Actually, go back. Sorry.
Right here.
So yeah, he was done with his OCC. I think he was either 2.5, or 3 years old when I got him. Did obviously buying him from someone, did the NIDO testing, got him here in my care, quarantined for 3 months, did 3 more NIDO testing before he even came up into this room. And then he's just been in my care since then.
Nice. And he's ready to go breeder wise.
He's in shed right now. Otherwise he'd be up top in this enclosure up here with the female from Garrick House of Blue.
Oh
So
wow, dude, him to Garrick, fucking that would be
yeah,
nuts.
to a Wamina Biak.
Wow. And she's on here, right? You have an updated pic
He
of that
is
right here. Yeah.
Nope, that's Sumo again. That's a sibling, I guess you would say, or a cousin.
Where is she at?
Let's see. If you go up top, right where all these, if you go to Artemis, if you go over,
Artemis. Yeah, this is cool. Oh, here they are. This is
right there. So,
Artemis. This girl right
yeah,
here.
that's Artemis. So that's who I'll be trying to pair him up with. So she's a Wamina Biak or a Wamaniac.
Wow.
I don't have a lot of good photos of her. I don't know what happened there. What happened?
Damn. All right. So let's listen. We're gonna get to wrap up topic time. I'll go first, and then we'll get to Marshall and Bill. But obviously, one thing I respect about this episode is you're definitely going through it. Like you're learning fucking as you're going along. I've
learned a lot from you guys tonight, so I appreciate that.
No worries. But
Taking
I feel like getting your ass kicked like the first year or two breeding is a good thing. I think it's like you better off figuring out like what it feels like now versus maybe getting a little bit of luck and then getting shitted on later. So what's your advice for anyone out there who's going into their first year breeding green tree pythons?
Oh, me. Don't count your eggs before they hatch, and
literally even when they hatch, don't count them.
Oh no, yeah. And just be patient. Be patient, persistent, and aware and alert, and just be ready to, no matter what time it is, to take care of these animals and give them what they need. I guess that's the biggest thing for me is, doesn't matter what time it is. If they go to the bathroom in their enclosure, I'm there cleaning it up at 3 a.m, 4 a.m. I don't let that sit at night. I hate it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You're either in it or you're not.
Yeah.
Or if you're looking to be in it, you at least show the integrity and the passion for it.
I don't think you should like be halfway into anything, but chondros, man, like, god damn it. You're either fucking full force or you're gonna find out quick. There's no, I don't know, right? Marshall and Bill, would you say there's really no like half fasting this shit or like halfway in it? What do you guys say to that?
I remember listening to, we talked about Justin earlier, Justin Kaboka, and he, maybe it was you, MJ, that asked him, hey, do you think you ever want to breed these, these green trees? You've got some green trees now. And he's like, no, I think I do best when I'm just focused on ball pythons, and I'll keep the green trees as pets and as side projects and all that. He goes, but he's at his best when he's focused on one species. And obviously, he's done it really well. And I think there's a lot, to say for that, theory for just being super focused on, one species, I think you'll a lot of positive fruits.
What do you say, Marshall?
I guess starting off, I was pretty focused on just chondros for a number of years, but now I kind of like the variety a little bit. I like having 4 or 5 different things, to mess around with. Just kind of keeps it interesting. Not that chondros alone would ever get boring, but it is nice to have a little variety.
What are the clue you made last year? Fucking try something. You're all stoked about it.
Transpecos, rat snakes. Yeah.
Is there a big market for those?
Dude, I thought I was gonna have to wholesale them, and I threw them up. I put them, I gave people on Instagram a deal at first, and then I threw them up on MORPH Market for like double what I was selling them for on Instagram, and just I got 3 left, I think. Nice. It's crazy. I was thinking I was going to wholesale them because I didn't have, which wasn't sure. But apparently, when there's 0 on MORPH Market except for yours, that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
So they're selling better than the ball pythons, is what you're saying.
Oh, way better than ball pythons. Yeah.
All right, who wants to go next with the wrap up question?
Yeah. Okay, I'll
go.
Tyler, one of my favorite questions to ask, kind of up and coming people that, you've got a lot of animals in your collection. What would be something that you would want to acquire? What would be your next, not necessarily exact animal, but genetics? What would you want in your collection next?
I would say I would like some super high melanism traits. So Bill, get producing that sickness 2.0.
All right.
Some high melanism, or some super sexy calico genes.
Yeah, great.
I wish we had some calico genes like Pedro over here in the US, but I know
we got plenty of good calico stuff.
Texas CHONDROS has got some great stuff going on. So
Marshall does too. Marshall's insane.
Marshall. Sorry, Marshall. I need to be more acquainted with you, Marshall. I'm sorry. I just haven't.
It's all right, man.
He's like, I don't want to talk to you anyways. No, I'm just kidding.
No, just get in line. Everyone's on Marshall's bumper, bro. You kidding me?
That's not true.
It is so true. I know behind the scenes, bro. This is why you got to talk fish. You talk fish with this guy, it's on. You're good. You just can't be all chondros with Marshall. You got to know how to warm up to the dude, bro, for sure. Shout out to fish.
Well, yeah, to answer your question, Bill, some high melanism, some calico, always some blue line stuff, but everybody's been asking what are you going to get next? I'm like, honestly, I'm not really looking to buy anything more. I've got a lot going on here, and I was like, it's time for me to make my own stuff. So kind of been the focus.
And you're at the stage now where you can appreciate the value of the trade.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. You're in a good place for sure. All right, what you got, Marshall?
I enjoy it.
So earlier we were talking about your cages, and you mentioned. So do you build the cages yourself, the PVC, and how do you how do you run the CNC? Do you just buy the parts, or how do you go about making cages like that?
So I started making them after PVC enclosures or PVC cages, retired.
Yeah,
I had a couple of them laying around. Yeah, and I had one laying around, and I was like, well, I want mine to match because I love the look of it. It's framed off super nicely. So I started building my own and kind of critiqued them and made them, a little different and kind of how I wanted them to be. But I start out with a raw 4x9 piece of PVC and just have all my measurements written down. I use a giant table saw, so I cut them all by hand on that, and then build them by hand.
And so I have some of the first ones. That was Jim Sharphorn, right? That made those.
Yep.
I
have some of the first ones that he ever made, and mine are. So are those multiple piece fronts? Like the fronts are tops and bottoms, or is the front one piece that you route out?
So the front's one piece that I route out because I really like that design. I liked how it looked clean. I know there's some, ones I've made where, I tried to not cut corners, but save material because you're wasting that whole middle piece unless you're building smaller enclosures. But I just like the look of it being seamless. And I'm like, I want to continue that on with what I have already. And I just like the clean look of it. But yeah, I'd build them all from scratch. I enjoy doing it. It's kind of a side hobby. Love building the perches, and I love showing people the plastic PVC, and they're like, that's plastic? That looks like wood. I'm like, that starts off with a piece of plastic from Home Depot.
So what do you use? What do you paint? What do you use to paint the black? Like, what do you, what material?
To paint the perches?
No, the PVC, because is it white at first?
Oh,
and then
no. So I either get black or white PVC.
Okay.
The white had kind of like a wood grain to it. So when I got it, I used that one for my first one that I ever built for the ball pythons. And I made like a double side enclosure so you could see it from the living room and the dining room.
Nice.
And then I just got black because I wanted it to match what I had.
That's it. That's the final product right there. Well, this is this looks like the cube. This is like a
that's a 24 cube with the opening. The frames on that one's 2 inches. So it appears bigger, but it's just easier to get in and out of.
And then you just get the glass cut. You have a local workplace.
Actually, I cut it all myself. I have a glass cutter. I order the glass and sheets. I do everything.
Dude, that's so hard.
That's awesome.
Got a glass cutter, so I have, sizes where it's like a little stopper that goes down. So I slide the glass to that, so I don't have to measure it each time. Score and cut the glass, and then I have a wet sand that I use to file the edges so they're not sharp.
Have you ever thought about selling cages?
Yeah.
Or have you?
What's that?
Have you sold cages, or have you ever thought about building and selling?
Oh yeah, I sell them. Currently working on a website for the breeding and for the enclosures. But yeah, I've sold quite a few. I had one gentleman, he ordered like 19 from me. That was a big order.
Wow.
That was a big order.
Yeah, that was a big order.
To cut all those by hand, that's crazy.
I cut them all by hand, but so if I have a huge order, I cut all the same pieces all at the same time. So I'm not moving that guide. So all of them match up.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I do cut them all by hand, glue in the track, cut my glass, make the backgrounds, make the perch holders, spin the PVC, install the heat panels, install lighting.
Tyler, do you have a real job?
I do. So I own an art install company. So I hang art, residential and commercial.
Oh, that's sick.
So that's like my actual job. But I'm always working in the shop with my hands and just, I don't know. I'm a builder. I like to build stuff. So making these enclosures it's a part-time job, especially when I get orders. I've got one actually just like the one you see right there in the picture going out this week. So
I need a friend like you. I need a friend like you that lives next to me. This is we do so many activities together. It's crazy.
Oh,
I just suck at building. Like I suck at measurements. I would probably chop a finger off. Like I'm not good at that stuff. But if I had a friend, I had a friend. Oh my God, we could go to the moon together. I'm telling you, because we shout out to Ryan Young, but the shit that Ryan has showed off in our chats, like how the fuck you do that? Like unbelievable. The kind of skills some of these people have, like yourself and Ryan. If you're a do-it-yourself person, dude, you're already one up in this hobby for sure, and you're gonna save some coin too.
Definitely, and there was a lot of figuring things out, like what works, what I like, what I don't like, what's changed this, what's changed the perch position, the height. Oh, that's too high. Let's drop it. A lot of learning, but I enjoy doing that, the research and development on it, and just doing it.
Dude, I couldn't even get my perches to look straight. Like I remember I set everything up and I sit back, my perches are like fucking slant. I'm like, oh my God, this is a pain in the ass.
I can't even hang a picture straight.
Oh, well, I can come hang some art for you and make your perches straight. But I have a jig, like it's almost like a piece of MDF shelf.
Yeah.
And I flipped the enclosure on its side and I slide it in there. And it already has all my holes pre-drilled. So, and I flip the enclosure the other way and drill them. So they match up perfectly.
Damn. What are you doing in June, Tyler? June 26th. You want to come to Trap Fest? You want to come to Trap Fest in San Diego? Meet a bunch of cool people?
I'm down. I'm always down to travel.
Bring your tools.
Summertime, I'll do anything in the summertime. I don't like the cold.
Bring
I
your
stay in
measurement.
this room a lot.
All right.
September in Texas is nice.
And September is next level.
And I'm a fan of Texas, like the humidity as well. So I wish there was more humidity. But yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to. Definitely.
All right. It's gonna be a time. All right. Listen, this was a good episode. Jam-packed full of fucking information. I'm really happy to see where you're at, where you're headed, man. And it's cool. Like, you know, you don't really know what people are going through until you sit down and talk to them. And I feel like you and I have a lot of similarities. So keep at it. I appreciate it. You coming on this Tuesday night. Where people to follow you? Instagram's the best place, you would say, right, Tylor?
Instagram, Facebook. You know, even if you someone that wants to place an order for enclosures, I like to talk on the phone with people. I like to get that one-on-one so I can really know what I'm doing for them. Feel free to reach out to me. I can give you my personal number and we can talk about stuff. I'm always down to talk. So, but yeah, Instagram and Facebook.
Can we get a conversation with me, you, and Harlan? I'm just kidding.
Actually, I don't have his new number.
It's a new number?
You got a new number, so I don't know. I know I can get the number, but I'm like, I know if I call, we're gonna be talking, which is fine. I'm a talker, but
He probably there too, and
8 hours, bro.
He probably changes his number once a year, just so all the new keepers just can't get a hold of him.
He changed it so I don't call him, so we don't have to talk for 8 hours.
Oh man! All right, listen again. Thanks for coming by. Great episode, guys. Please go give him a follow on Instagram. Tylor's Green Trees. Link in the description below. But give it up. It's a wrap for Tylor, ladies and gentlemen.
Good job, Tylor.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tyler.
Great episode, bro. Really good shit.
See you, man.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Nice
soon.
meeting you guys. Definitely look forward to talking and chatting. Appreciate
All right,
it.
buddy. We'll do it again sometime. All right.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Later, Tyler. Good episode, man. Fuck yeah. Cool shit. He's really dialed in. Like as far as like building closures, like that. I always respect that. Like I'm like if you're on that type of level, because I wish I was good at that shit, but I'm just not. And I don't. I'm like you're talking about Justin, how he focuses on ball pythons. I focus on not building because I'm just not good at building. Like I know what I'm good at. I know my power strengths in this world and building measurements, all that. Not me, dude. Marsh was good at that shit. You saw how he remodeled his fucking bathroom.
Yeah, that's Marshall's job.
That was hard.
He's designing shit, right, Marshall? And project.
I mean, yeah, but I don't like. I know the guy to call. I don't know how to actually do it myself. So
you did do some of that work though, like yourself, right?
Yeah, some, but all the skill stuff. I did like the heavy lifting, the demo, the stuff that doesn't. You just get in there and break shit. It doesn't require any finesse. For the finesse, I got to call somebody.
Right,
but I know who to call them.
Yeah, as long as you got somebody to call. But good episode, guys. What'd you think, Bill, of tonight's episode?
I thought it was great. I don't know if Tylor was a humble person before getting into chondros, but he is now. I like to see that. He's humble. He's,
super sharp dude for sure.
Sharp, willing to learn, and that'll keep his chondro game strong into the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely feel like he has a good future in this. Like I kind of have a good feel of people, and the fact that he's having that one up with being able to build enclosures for people. I mean, god damn, that's fucking sick as shit. So really cool to see and talk to somebody like that,
And he's been doing it, he's been doing it for a while. He obviously he's got patience, which is one of the biggest things. Talked about, letting females have another year that he had that could have potentially gone this year. So yeah, for sure. He's got the right attitude.
Yeah, well, good episode, guys. I appreciate you guys. Red Mountain Herbs on Instagram. Give him a follow. And, of course, the mayor, Phoenix Reptiles. Give it up. It's a wrap for Marshall Bill, ladies and gentlemen.
See you guys next week.
See you all next time.
See you next week. Have a good night. And I appreciate everyone who tapped in. If this is your first time watching this episode, make sure you hit that like button, please. Let's get the likes up for Tylor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Select all. You'll be reminded of every podcast being released out of the Trap Talk Reptile Network 7 days a week, the only network to be dropping episodes every day of the week. So thank you for all the love and support. Don't forget, there's Apple, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Google Play, all the audio platforms to listen to all these epic episodes. But of course, before we let you go, sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website, see what he has available green tree python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 green tree python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the green tree python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the green tree python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. Cheers.